So here we go again. And if anybody, and I'm not trying to use what's happened in Uxbridge to gain capital for my beliefs and what I believe is going on. But I think we've got to talk about this sort of stuff as soon as it happens, because you can guarantee that within a few hours, people are saying, well, don't speculate about the incident. This man has just been charged, whatever. You can't talk about the case anymore. That's the way they close people down when they don't want the case talked about. But what we do know, this is what we know, that 3 people were stabbed. One of them died. I'm not sure whether it was the gentleman walking his dog. The child doesn't seem to have died. There's a 14-year-old stabbed. There was I think the 49-year-old man that was stabbed died. Now, again, if anyone knows more about the case than I do, because all I'm doing is just reading what we've got on the internet, what we've got in GB News, what we've got in the Evening Standard. So this is literally just coming out of the press. This happened last night at 5 o'clock. Thankfully, they've actually admitted that this guy, I'll get it up on screen here. They've admitted that the guy that did it was an Afghan migrant. So don't know if you can see that there on the screen. Afghan arrested after 1 man killed in 3-person stabbing in London. And straight away, I want to know, was this guy an illegal? 22-year-old, I would say almost, and again, I am speculating, and I'm not going to say this is true or this isn't true, but I would almost put my mortgage, well, I don't have a mortgage anymore, but I'd almost put every penny I have on the fact that this guy came here illegally or on one of these crazy resettlement schemes. It's got to be, one of the two. And there's a man dead. I don't know if it's a dog walker. I don't know who it is that's actually died, but there's certainly 1 man died. Another man's got life-changing injuries, and a little boy has been attacked and stabbed as well within the last 24 hours. Literally less than 24 hours ago this happened. And the footage that's on the internet, absolutely horrendous. And apparently it seems that people did try to intervene. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think in this sort of situation, really and truthfully, you've got to try and intervene, even if there's some nutcase, wired up, crazy, illegal running around with a machete. If there's kids nearby, if there's women nearby, if you're a man, you've got to try and intervene. And that's my opinion on it. I mean, again, obviously, the government used to put out a doctrine. I don't know if you remember this: run, hide, and tell. I think they changed that, because when the veterans came along, we said, no, you stand, you fight, and you protect, because that's what men are meant to do. You stand up to them, you fight against them, and you protect your women folk and you protect your children. But again, how much more of this can our country take? What have we seen in the last few weeks? And let's get this right. Let's just not beat about the bush. It's almost certain this guy's a Muslim, right? It's very, very unlikely. There's very few Christians in Afghanistan. There's very few Buddhists or Hindus or Sikhs in Afghanistan. There are a couple of Sikhs. And I think there were some Buddhists until they got cleansed by the Taliban. But the reality is, it's almost certain that this guy is a Muslim migrant from Afghanistan. Probably had a brutal life. Well, do you know what? Crimea River, I don't care how tough his life was. He's just took somebody's life in Uxbridge. Now, it seems he was possibly arguing with someone that was in the HMO that he was living in. But if you look at the street, I don't know if we can get it up on the screen here. I want to try and find a picture of this street. Yeah, there you go. So let me just share this one instead of the one I was sharing. So look at that. That is not the sort of place that you would want an HMO to be. No disrespect. I would rather have an HMO in a place where there's lots of other HMOs. A street like that looks like a nice residential area of Uxbridge. I don't know, because I don't live there. But it looks like something that was at one point a decent area. And again, what do? This is the government's fault. This is down to government policy. And it's down to those scumbags. See those scumbags Stand up to racism. Flipping standing there. Refugees are welcome here. Well, I want to ask you, scumbags. You know that guy that said to the mob of jihadists on Saturday afternoon, "Oh, we're all on the same side, bruv," and the Muslim guy just went, "No, we ain't." At least the Muslim guy was honest. You mugs in stand up to racism. You absolute mugs. Hate without hope, all these leftist organizations crying a river about migrants. I don't give a toss about illegal migrants. I would get them all, every single one of them on a boat and just take them anywhere away from our country, away from our women, away from our kids, away from innocent people out walking the dogs. This guy should never have been in this country. What was he even doing here? 22-year-old Afghan national. What was he doing in Uxbridge with a machete on a Monday afternoon when people are coming home from work? What was he doing? Shouldn't be here. Simple as. Shouldn't be here. They need to go. Every single stinking one of them needs to go. They don't need to be here. They shouldn't be here. Get them out. They don't belong in this country. This country has nothing to do with them. And you could say, oh, well, we went to war in Afghanistan. We went to war in Afghanistan after crazy jihadists associated with Al-Qaeda flew a few aeroplanes into tall buildings. Should we have a little bit of context here before the Muslim apologies can't start with the whataboutery and you started it? If you look at, if you look back through history, I think a guy called Muhammad started it quite a long time ago. And Muhammad is still fighting those wars right now. We don't know what the motive was. We don't know what's going on. We know a guy's been arrested. But all I'm saying is this. I want every single illegal migrant in this country locked up, rounded up, and shipped out. And I don't care where they go. You can put them on an island in the middle of the South Atlantic. Maybe South Georgia. I don't think there's too many people living on South Georgia. Maybe it's one of the Falkland Islands. Then see if the Argentinians want to take them back. But we don't want them here. We do not want them on our turf. We don't want them in our country. Sorry, that's just the way it is. All these fighting age men. We nearly had this in North Down. There was a guy roaming around. He had a Fulani sounding name, roaming around our area for a week before the police managed to catch him. And all sorts of rumors were floating about him, flashing knives and so on and so forth. And that's why people are protesting outside migrant hotels. And this is what I said. I said, look, the migrant hotels are actually the least of our worries, because at least when they're in hotels, we know where they are and they can be called to account. Now we've got them, Operation Scatter, they call it. They're all over the country. I don't want them here. None of the British public want them here. So the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, any of these other leftist progressive parties that want them here, you want them here, you want them in HMOs, open your doors to them. Come on, Zach Polanski, open your front door to hug a 22-year-old Afghan migrant with a machete in his hand. He'll turn you into a lollipop, Zach. That's what he'll do with you. Oh, let's have a look at some of the comments. I'm not staying on long here. I'm wound up and I had to come on and just vent. Just vent. Yep, it certainly is getting beyond the joke. And I am not a happy bunny. Radical Islam behind this, make no mistake. How many more people are going to lose their lives over this? Catherine, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. It's just, I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. Thanks to the government, it will get every minute. It will get every minute a murder. They welcome this. They want this to clear the population. It's their killing spree. Yeah, the COVID continuation. If they wanted this ended, they could. Of course they could. They could end it tomorrow. They managed to lock the whole population down for COVID. You telling me they can't round up a few thousand migrants? What is it, 2 million? Shouldn't really be too much of a bother for them. And if they can't, well, then they hire people. Like I said the other day, start a home defence regiment. There'll be loads of patriots. People will be queuing up to join a home defence regiment. Veterans will be queuing up, ex-policemen, patriots, security guys, doormen. They'll be queuing up to take part in action to get rid of these people out of our country. And this needs to start happening. Because if it doesn't, this country is going to blow. I keep always, always, always trying to calm people down and say, no, let's do it politically. Let's do it the political way. Soon, very soon, what's going to happen is sinister people are going to push us to one side and say, sorry, lads, we've tried your way. It didn't work. So this puts absolute pressure, not just on Labour and the Conservatives, but leaders of every single political party on the right to make sure that you're investing in the right policies and the right people. Reform, UKIP, Advance, what's left of the Tory party. You can't even call that a right-wing party. All of these parties on the right, they need to be getting very, very serious about winning this next election and making the top priority in this election, getting rid of these illegals. That has to be number one priority, because this is going to get worse and worse and worse. And also clamping down on fundamentalist Islam, and also clamping down on Islamism, and also locking up those on the terror watch list, and also locking up those 3,000 people who have got the wherewithal to make explosive devices, IEDs, improvised explosive devices. All of those people need to go. All of them need to be locked up. And I'm for freedom. I am absolutely 100% for freedom. But our freedoms are getting taken away because of these scumbags that are coming into our country and chopping people up. It is an absolute disgrace. Now these things have now moved up a notch in this more affluent area. It won't be long before it starts affecting. Well, do you know what? See the gated communities that Gary Neville's living in, and those other scumbags. What's the other Gary? All the Garys. Seems to be something about Garys on the TV, that they have a love for this cultural enrichment. And just remember, guys, don't forget, whatever you do, do not forget, diversity is our greatest strength. This diverse 22-year-old Afghan, he is one of the greatest strengths of our country at the minute. So glad he came to the country. Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. I think you're right. Buddhism driven out by, yeah, and yes, they try to genocide the Sikhs as well. Absolutely right. And remember, they blew up those Buddhist statues in about 20 years ago. Enough is enough, Richard. Absolutely fed up with this. I'm not just fed up with the corrupt government. I'm fed up with the judiciary. I'm fed up with the police. I'm fed up with the media. I'm fed up with the Ofcoms and the off communists and the people that are trying to stop us having free speech. I'm fed up with these social media giants that do anything the British government tells them what to do because they're weak sauce, like Elon said. The only one that we've got on side is Elon Musk and Twitter. The rest of them are just pathetic. I heard today that AY Audits got demonetized. Goodness knows what for. Goodness knows what for. But that's it. He won't be able to afford. You know, people go on about people making money off YouTube channels. Can you imagine what AY Audits has spent traveling all around the country, documenting everything that he documents? He was getting a good living out of it, no doubt. Brilliant. And I'm glad for everybody on YouTube that actually manages to work the system and get a good living out of it. But now he's been demonetized. He's had his money taken. I mean, this channel I'm talking to is completely demonetized. The only way I can get money through is if people are kind enough to give me something through PayPal. But the reality is AY Audits would have been getting good money because he had a good channel. He was doing really, really well. And bang, they've demonetized it. And this will be a purge. You wait and see. There'll be others. Will be getting their channels purged. It's disgusting. And that will have happened because of that Channel 4 news piece. Believe you me, Channel 4 News will be behind that. And they're going to come after all our channels again. They'll come after Tommy's channel again. They'll come after my channel again. All of us vaporized from Facebook in 2018 purely because of our political beliefs. We have not committed one hate crime, because you better believe if I'd have ever committed a crime in any of the thousands of videos and posts I've done, you better believe that my front door would have come up the hall. Because if you have been doing this for any amount of time, you know the police are watching you. You know the security service are watching you, because they count us as a bigger threat than the Islamists and the Muslim Brotherhood. And I want to say something else while I'm on that subject, right? GB News, Talk TV, shame on you. Absolute shameful channels. I've been watching your content since the Aston Villa thing, right? And you have had Islamist activists on your channels, on challenge. One guy on Talk TV, I'm not going to mention his name because these guys are highly litigious. One guy on Talk TV was talking to some girl that obviously didn't have a clue what she was talking about. Some journalist didn't have a clue what she was talking about. And he said to her, he said, "Oh, I want Israel. I want a one-state solution. I want that area to be the same as it was before the Balfour Declaration." Well, guess what it was before the Balfour Declaration? To all the people who don't know, and I think most of my viewers probably know because you're all very knowledgeable on this sort of stuff. But just for anybody that doesn't get what he was saying there, before the Balfour Declaration, Israel was controlled by the Ottoman Empire. They were dhimmis. Anybody in Israel that wasn't a Muslim was a dhimmi. And a dhimmi is someone that is a servant, someone that's subservient to the Islamic ruling class. In other words, they were subjugated. They were like serfs in their own homeland, their own ancestral homeland of Israel. And this guy, this was his one-state solution, that basically the Ottoman Turks take over. And I tell you what, the way things are going in the Middle East, I wouldn't be surprised if Turkey managed to get a heck of a lot more influence over Lebanon and Israel and all those areas. In fact, I'm not even going to go into it. I'm not even going to start talking about that dreadful deal that's just been done with Qatar and Turkey and all the rest of them, because believe you me, that is not a good deal. You know, people talk about the big man in the White House and the art of the deal. Well, guess what? That's not a good deal that's been done for Israel. Not for 1 minute, but that's another story. It's not about Israel. It's about that man that is dead, lying. I'm going to say this graphically, lying on a slab in a morgue because that Afghan migrant was allowed to come into this country. How do you know he's a migrant? Because he's an Afghan national, unless he was here on a student exchange, which I very highly would disbelieve. He's almost certainly come across here on a boat, or maybe he's one of the ones that got resettled because of the data breach. You know, the ones that they were flying into all these airports in the middle of the night. You're hearing these planes flying at 2 o'clock in the morning. Going, that's weird. Planes don't normally come into Belfast Airport at 2 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what, Catherine? I don't blame you being terrified. I'm not terrified. I am seething with rage. I'm seething with rage. And I'm seething with rage against the man that did this. Scumbag. You know, why do they taser these people? Why don't they just shoot them in the flipping head? Save us a massive amount of money. See, if someone's running about with a blade, just pop him. Simple as that. Surely the police can justify that. He's just murdered someone. Taser, taser, taser. Blow his head off, for goodness sake. Ugh. Yeah, we do need containment centers straight away. Absolutely. Right now, we need containment centers. Think about last week. That poor woman who was working in a migrant hotel. She had a little 5-year-old boy who's now orphaned, right? And if you know any children who have lost a parent at that sort of age, and you've seen the way it's affected their lives and the devastating impact it's had on their lives, that little 5-year-old boy will never recover from that. Never. And that scumbag, wherever he was, I don't care where he was from. Sudan, was it? Sudan? Another Muslim, no doubt. Sudanese. That scumbag was strutting about the streets of our country. And for whatever reason, they don't need a reason. They're flipping. They're savages. These people are savages. It's as simple as that. They shouldn't be here. I know I'm animated. I know I'm angry. And you see, this is, you know, the terrible thing about this is, right? The things I'm saying on this video, people will be scrutinizing them. Oh, has he said anything? Has he crossed any lines? Has he said anything we can get him on? Do you know what? We're all beyond caring. We're absolutely beyond caring. We know what's happened. We know who's to blame. Keir Starmer, the Labour government, blood-soaked hands. Rishi, Boris, Theresa May. I'm not going to blame Liz Truss. Rishi, Boris, Theresa May, call me Dave Cameron, Osborne, even though he never became Prime Minister, of course he wanted to be. He was on the slippery pole. Clegg, Brown, Blair, every single one of you men has blood all over your hands. Blair for the Iraq War. Look at what that did to the Middle East. That's on you, Tony. There was the Afghan war was different. The Afghan war was a just war because the Taliban had sheltered Al-Qaeda, and it was right and just to get rid of the Taliban. The problem was what they did afterwards. They had no clue about what they were trying to go and preach diversity to the Afghans. As that guy found out on Saturday, that told the jihadists in Tower Hamlets that we're all on the same side, soon and very soon the left are going to find out that, guess what, the jihadi Johns and the jihadi Joes and the jihadi Abduls and the jihadi Mohammeds, they ain't on your side. They're on their side. They're on the side of the Ummah. They're on the side of the Caliphate. They're on the side of the Islamic State. They're on the side of Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram. That's whose side they're on, mate. That's whose side they're on. I saw that scumbag Benjamin Butterworth, who, let's get it right, if the people that were in Tower Hamlets got their way, he'd be in a lot of trouble. Let's just say that. You'd be avoiding a window cleaning round on a skyscraper. Let's just put it that way, Benji. And he was there on GB News last night, equating, trying to talk about Nick Tenconi and the people in UKIP as if they were the same as those scumbags that were dressing up as wannabe jihadis in Tower Hamlets on Saturday afternoon. Absolutely. And these, you see, the left in this country have destroyed this country. They have raped this country. The left in this country, they are responsible for the rape of Britain. They're responsible for a potential genocide or something horrific that could happen in this country. Because is it beyond the realms of possibility that a whole lot of these crazy nut jobs, instead of just going out stabbing people one at a time on their own, get a little firm together and go into a village, or I daren't even say it, but we know that the police and the security services are preparing for a school massacre. We know that. I've got grandkids of primary school age. My grandchildren, my youngest is a little baby. My granddaughter's in primary school, and my grandson's in secondary school. My daughter's got a job where she's traveling about all the time on her own in a car. I don't want these scumbags in our towns. I don't want them in our cities. I don't want them in our countries. I want them gone. And I think everybody, every right-minded person in the UK, and I'm calling them scumbags because that's what they are. Look at the way they behave. Am I generalizing? Yes, I am generalizing. Am I talking about every single one of them? No, I'm not. Of course I'm not. But the ones that go out and do what this man's done, I would rather have no migrants here than let one man do what this man's done yesterday. But it's not just one. We can look right the way back through the last few years. The amount of stabbings, the amount of rapes, the amount of indecent assaults, they're going on and on and on and on. And it's got to stop. And the only way to stop it is to get a government in that's going to stop it. And I keep saying, to me, will Farage do it? Not a chance. Advance UK will do it. Advance UK will do it. And if they don't, they will have a massive, massive backlash against them. So they better make sure that they do. But they will do it. They will do it, for sure. They'll get rid of these people out of the country. They'll get rid of these people out of the country. They will be gone. And the other people that suffer as a result of this, and this is where I get very, very confused when you see crowds like we saw on Saturday. You see, the settled migrant communities suffer from this as well. Because when you get loads of people coming in filled with testosterone, wanting to prove themselves, setting up gangs, who suffers for that? Who suffers? The people live in those areas. Who live in those areas are the migrants. So this isn't a white supremacy thing. The reality is that the illegal migrants are a big problem. I was watching Henry Bolton yesterday talking about what happened in Kosovo, and Blair opened the floodgates to Albanian migrants to come to our country. And guess who has managed to set up the biggest mafia that's probably ever been seen in the UK, that's not averse to using absolutely obscene levels of violence? Guess who set up this mafia? The very same Albanians that Blair welcomed into the country with open arms. You know, whenever Tony Blair stood for parliament, not stood for parliament, whenever Tony Blair won the election in 1997, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but it was prophetic. Do you know what the Conservative Party did? They did a graphic, and the graphic was a black strip across Tony Blair's face, as if it was showing that Blair's nice, smiley, cuddly, liberal face was a mask for something much more sinister, and beneath the mask were two red demonic eyes. Don't you if you remember those graphics that were produced about Tony Blair in 1997? They were absolutely prophetic and absolutely right. Blair, you are an evil man. You're responsible for the destruction of this country. You and your cronies, you and Brown, and all your other Fabian mates. No doubt you're all Fabians. Haven't checked, but I'm sure you are. And if you're not, I apologise, just in case you start suing me. But the Fabian lot, the hard left. You see, Blair was a hard leftist. He just hid it really, really well. Very clever, very clever. But with them, it's all about power. It's all about controlling people. And I think it was Blair that said he wanted us to choke on diversity. He wanted people on the right to choke on diversity. Well, Tony, you've choked your whole country, you scumbag. And you'll stand and you'll answer to God one day for what you did in Iraq, for what you've done to this country. I think the Labour Party is probably the most reprehensible, spineless, cowardly political party on this planet right now. Rachel from Accounts, Clueless Kia, David Lammy. I mean, my goodness. Unbelievable. But these guys are responsible. All of them had blood on their hands. So we need a clean sweep. We need a totally clean sweep. And what worries me about Farage sees these people as friends. I see him when he's chatting to them on GB News. He likes the vibe. He likes being with these people. See, I don't think Ben Habib's like that. I don't think the people in Advance are like that. They don't want these people around them. They want a clean sweep. They want a clean house. And the team they're building, I don't know if you've just seen, another academics just joined the ranks of Advance. There's another one joined a few weeks ago. Really, really clever people with really clever ideas who are not doing this for money. They're not doing this for glory. They've had their careers. They've been extremely successful in their fields, and they're doing it to save the country. And that's what we need. That's what we need. We need a pool of talent. I mean, I've got ideas, and I'll be honest with you, I think my ideas will work. In fact, I'm convinced my ideas will work. If you make it very, very uncomfortable for jihadists, Islamists, and fundamentalist Muslims to live in this country, they're going to stop living here and move away. And then you'll be left with the moderates. It's as simple as that. And even if you had to throw them a few quid to go, it'd be worth it. And we need them out. They're not coming here to take part, as I said. They're coming here to take over. Well, listen, if you're a Muslim watching this, and you've got the ideology, if you're an extremist and you're a jihadist or an Islamist or a fundamentalist, and you're coming here with the idea of taking over, no way Jose, or sorry, no way Yusuf, or no way Mohammed, or no way Asif, or Ahmed, you are not going to take over our country. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And you've got to realize that. So, I'll close this off. It's a rant. To say less than happy would be an understatement. I just want them gone. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Unless we get a political party in power that can get rid of these savages, we're going to be in a massive amount of trouble. And of course, I'm not talking about every Muslim. You know, not every Muslim's a terrorist, but the reality is that in the world right now, most terrorists are Muslims. That's just a matter of fact. That's a matter of fact. I'm going to actually, do you know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Yeah, do you know what, Alan? Do you know what I call it? Instead of the Ulster Defence Regiment, the Home Defence Regiment, and I've actually written a paper on it and costed it, and I'll maybe talk about that. I'll maybe do a special if I don't get arrested and vaporized for this rant I've just made. Um, I'll do a special on the Home Defence Regiment, and it would have all sorts of. It'd be a bit different to the UDR. It'd have its own surveillance section. It'd be extremely heavily vetted. A lot of patriots would join, but Home Defence Regiment to guard our country. We'd probably need at least 30,000 people in it, to make it work. Guys, I didn't come on Counter Media with this this video, but I would ask everybody, and the reason I want to ask everybody that's actually watching this on this channel, because that means I know everyone that's on this channel or on either on Twitter or on the Richard Inman YouTube channel. If you could dive across, I'm going to put it in the comments here, guys, to Counter Media. If you're not registered already, that's not even obviously even if you're not on the comments, it's fine, because what I want is hold on, that's not it. Let me just get this so it's looking good. Counter Media channel. There we go. Here we go. Okay. Right. There we go, guys. So if you can go to Counter Media on YouTube and register on Counter Media, because I want to get traction on that. Because if I can get monetized on that, it means I can do a lot more content. It's as simple as that. Well, I am monetized on Counter Media, but it's not generating a huge amount of revenue. I'm on about 6,000 something subscribers. I want 100,000. I mean, I've got nearly 50,000 on this channel. If I can get 100,000 on Counter Media, I'll be doing content morning, noon, and night if it's properly monetized. But again, there's always the danger. I mean, the fact that AY Audits has been demonetized just blows me away. I cannot for the life of me understand how they can justify demonetizing him. It must be a result of that Channel 4 documentary, which is scandalous, because I watched AY's content. He doesn't even talk about this sort of stuff I'm talking about today. He just goes and films stuff and walks into migrant hotels. He doesn't do anything that's not true. He's just reporting stuff on the ground as it happens. He did a great report from Southampton. So anyway, guys, I'm going to shoot off because I've probably said far too much already. But isn't it terrible? Isn't it terrible that when we're making videos now, I'm thinking, oh man, have I crossed the line? Have I said too much? Have I said something that's have I said something? Jenny, thank you so much for that. Again, guys, memes, thanks. In fact, actually, let's just do this. Let's just get. Do you know what? Documenting decline. I'm thinking of, as you already know. If you don't know, I'm going to tell you. The Men of England song I wrote. Where are the Men of England? It is. We're selling that. It's like 99p a download. So if you want to support me, that's a good way of doing it. Download a few, because what I want to do with the Men of England, I'll put the link into this as well. Let me just find the. I'll see if I can find it. Oh, there we go. Cool. So the Men of England. Let me put it in the comments. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. The Men of England song. I'm going to pop that in there. Bit of a lag here. So yeah, keep subscribing to the YouTube channel. And this one here, if you go into that link there, if you copy that link out, I'll leave that up there for a little while. If you copy that link out and go onto that site, you can actually buy. I've got a record company doing it for me. My mate owns a record company. They used to publish a lot of punk stuff back in the day. And download Where Are the Men of England, and it's 99p. I think you can get it. You can download it either on Apple or on what's the other one? Amazon. And if we can get that to number one for Remembrance Day, I think that'd be absolutely great. Yeah, political solution is. Do you know what? I agree with that 100%. 100%. A political solution is absolutely needed. What I'm going to do, guys, actually, just bear with me. I was going to say talk among yourselves, but just bear with me for a couple of seconds. Because what I want to try and do is, if possible, go in and edit this video and drop these links into this video now. So let's have a look, see if I can find out. Okay, so we're not on Counter Media One, the Richard Inman channel. So I'm going to put the links into the Richard Inman channel, just of the things that I want you to do, which is subscribe to Counter Media, and also go into the Men of England thing. And the other thing is, I'm gonna check the comments on this. The Men of England. Who thinks I should do a Men of England T-shirt? Let me know if you want me to do "Where are the Men of England" as a T-shirt, and I'll get that organised, and then we'll have some stocking fillers. Some some of the ladies in the chat can buy their fella "Where are the Men of England" T-shirt. It really only applies if you live in England, but there would be especially if your husband or boyfriend is not going out and demonstrating and getting involved at the sharp end. Buy him "Aware of the Men of England" T-shirt. Okay. Oh man. Right. Let me just try and do this here. Just bear with me 2 seconds, guys. So let's see if I can get this sorted. Right. Okay. And again, I think from the point of view of what we do, and there was somebody put it in the comments. So this channel, the Richard Inman channel's got 48,900 subscribers to it. If we had the same on the Counter Media one, which everybody that's on this channel, that's subscribed to this channel, really should be subscribed to the Counter Media one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just drop the links into the description of this video. Okay, so let me just grab the Counter Media one first, and then I'll put the link through to the sorry, where am I? Yeah, there we go. So that's Counter Media, and I'm going to put a link through to the Men of England song, and you can download it, you can stream it, you can do all that sort of good stuff. And okay, just one more to go. Also, if anybody wants to support me, which a lot of you have, and again, I can't thank you enough, the people that have actually supported me. If anybody wants to support me, I'm going to put a little link through to the PayPal link where you can actually support me. So just bear with me 2 seconds. I'll drop all those into the links in the description of this video. See, I'm really good at this, aren't I? That's why. Right, that's it now. That's it saved. So yeah, all those links are in the description of this video. And again, I think again, thanks for that, Alan. Do you know what? You're absolutely right. And we could talk about that at length about Northern Ireland, and there's no excuse. There's no excuse in Northern Ireland for men not getting out on the streets. And just because it's not happening now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And I'm going to tell you something now. See what we did with that event on the 13th of September in England. Scared the absolute life out of Keir Starmer and all those on the left. One man, Tommy Robinson, that, whether you like Tommy or not is not the issue here, right? I know some people, they don't know him. I know him. But whether you like Tommy or not is not the issue. One thing you can say for absolute certainty is that Tommy galvanized 1 million people to come to London on the 13th of September. That is incredible. How many other people do you know could do that? I don't know anyone else could do it. And that's what, that's the secret ingredient. That's the X factor. And there's something about Tommy that people are just drawn to, they gravitate towards, and they get involved with. And there's loads of other people out there been doing this stuff. I mean, one of the things I do get annoyed was when people say, "Oh, Tommy's the only one doing it." There's loads of us have been doing it for years, but Tommy's the only one that's got the following and the charisma to get that amount of people out on the ground. And the last of it is, I was watching. Should I say this again? Oh, I don't care. By the way, I am going to say this, and I'm going to give a caveat because there's something else I want to say about this. But Nick Tenconi was on the platform in Southampton. He said, "I'm your leader." No, Nick, you're not the leader. There's only one guy leading this movement, and that's Tommy Robinson. That's just the way it is. Whether you like it or not, mate, that's the way it is, and he's not going anywhere. Um, and the reality is, I believe God's doing a major work in Tommy's life, and I think if Tommy really gets to grips with the Christianity thing, which I think he will do, because he's a smart guy, if he becomes a believer, then that's going to transform the movement into an even stronger position. I believe that. But I'm going to give Nick credit here, right? If it wasn't for Nick Tenconi, those guys wouldn't have come out on the streets of Whitechapel. No doubt about it. It was Nick threatening to go to Whitechapel and planning a demo there, which he had every legal and legitimate right to do. And the police should have allowed him to do it and protected him and his supporters, no matter how many police they had to deploy. But of course, remember what I told you before, the police have a strategy called numbers. The people who can put the biggest numbers out, they're the ones that win, right? That's the way it works, okay? By the way, this live stream, I was going on to set up a live stream with me and Pastor Chris Wickland. Tonight at 7 o'clock, Pastor Chris is coming onto this channel. He's got a lot to say. In fact, I'll have it on all three channels. He's got a lot to say. Massively, massively respected guy. And, you know, I think Pastor Chris has a lot of really, really big answers, you know, for our country. And he's definitely well worth hearing. I'm going to put my glass on here because I just realized when I don't have my glass on, I can't see what's going on. That's why. So yeah. And again, just going to put that link back up there, guys. If you haven't done so already, I'm going to just respectfully ask that everybody that's watching now, we've got 602 people watching. I'd ask if you could all dive across, I was going to say dance across, dive across to Counter Media and subscribe to Counter Media because I want to build that channel up. Now, whether I'll be able to do it, because the reality is I've been demonetized before on YouTube. So, I mean, you know, do you know what? I understand that. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I understand it. Yeah. Do you know what, Stevie? They won't let you. They won't let you super chat me on this, mate. I'm not on this. This video is not going on Counter Media just because I knew it might get a bit spicy because I know how angry I am. And yeah, we forgot God and Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Mackenzie. You're absolutely right on that. But Stevie, tonight I will be on the Counter Media channel. You can super chat on that. I'll be on that tonight from 7 o'clock. Okay, and no, exactly. I'm not. That's what I'm saying, Kelly. I'm deliberately not streaming this to Counter Media just in case I say anything that that upsets YouTube's logarithm. Oh, June, appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. I'll let you know. In fact, I wonder, can I check straight away? Just bear with me. Let me have a quick look at this, see what's going on. I'm going to have to shoot off in a minute because I've got to get this other stream set up for Pastor Chris for later on tonight. Sometimes it takes a little while for the PayPal thing to come through. What I'll do, I'll come on tonight and I'll not name everybody, but I'll thank everybody because quite a few people have been very kind and been supporting me on PayPal. So I'll be just thanking people. You know who you are. And again, like I say, it's not. I don't do this for the money at all because obviously, if I spent all my time on my business and not doing this, I'd make a heck of a lot more money than I make doing this. But it does help when people are supporting me, so I do appreciate it. But yeah, so I've calmed down a bit, but only one. I could not find the Counter Media one of this. Only the one about bacon. If you follow that link I put in there, actually, if you go into the description of this video, I'm just going to do it myself here. If you go into the description of this video, it should be in the description. So let me just check that myself. Oh, that's yeah. Okay, there we go. So it's the top one there. So just click on Counter Media, and just subscribe, and obviously smash the notification bell as well, because if you hit the notification bell, then you'll be getting notified when all the good stuff happens. Just going to go through some more of these comments, guys, because I like going through as many comments as I can, because this is how we interact with each other. And I think it's probably easier to, I mean, I think what Paul Thorpe's doing with the phone-ins is great, but I think this is probably more efficient way of me doing it, because I can get a gist of what everybody's thinking. Agree with that. I agree with that 100%, Alan. As you know, we're on the same page on that, mate. 100%. I love that name, Mohammed. Oh, the link, if you click on the link, guys, there's a link now in the description of this video. So if you click on the link, if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, the link is actually in there. Show up in the house. Show's obviously in the house. Where's Show Up? I've lost him. So there we go. Hey, Show Up. How are you, brother? Bless you, my man. Are you doing well? I saw a video of you getting quizzed by 2 counter-terror cops the other day. They certainly are turning the screw on you, fella, aren't they? The stabbing was yesterday at 5 o'clock, and it's turned out it's an Afghan migrant. Surprise, surprise. We're not shocked. We're not shocked at all. Oh man, three families devastated. I don't care about the migrant. Don't care about him. They should have shot him in the head. But and this is what I don't understand. Why aren't the police shooting people? It would save us so much money. That scumbag is going to be in prison for maybe 40 years, getting lifted and laid. He'll be with the brothers, in it. He'll be with the Muslim bros that run the prisons now, And I said this the other day. I said, look, we need to ban the hijab. We need to ban halal. We need to ban cousin marriage. We need to enforce bigamy laws. We need to ban Sharia councils. We need to do these things straight away. We need to make this place a cold house for Islamists. If you're a Muslim Brotherhood scumbag, come to this country to try and take over, we need to make this country so that you can't stay here, because life is unbearable for you, because you can't practice your perverse, disgusting, death cult ideals, whatever we want to say, practices in this country. Halal. No halal slaughter. You're not going to say prayers over animals and then cut the throats and let them bleed out. Not doing that. It's not happening anymore. That's what we need. A government that's got the guts to say that, to stand up and say, no, thus far and no more. Monitor the mosques, find out what they're saying. Find out what these imams are saying in those mosques. Now, this guy probably wasn't a jihadi. He was probably just a nutcase. Or maybe he was a jihadi. We don't know. That's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah, we've got a lefty police force. I think about when I was in the military in the 80s and served at Northern Ireland, and the police officers we served with in Northern Ireland were absolutely superb. They were like us. They were like soldiers. We were all in it together. We were all fighting against terrorism. We're all fighting against the IRA. Okay, right. Going to go through a few more comments, and then I am going to bug out. So look at this. June, just got that money. Thank you so much, June. That is so kind of you. Really, really appreciate that. That's just come through on the email there. So that's in the PayPal account. So June, thank you so much for that. Very, very kind. Okay, guys, listen, I'm gonna bug out of here. I don't even know what I said. I was that angry when I came on. So if I'm not on at 7 o'clock tonight, you know what's happened. The boys in blue have kicked the door in. But how much more of this garbage do we have to put up with? It just gives me a headache. Gives me a headache even thinking about it. Stevie, mate, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Now, here's the thing, guys. This is what I'm thinking, right? In fact, let me get that image I'm going to get that image in the screen here, right? So just bear with me 2 seconds. I'm going to take myself out of there, and I'm going to put this in here. Share this tab. Okay. Where are we? At a stage. So what do you guys, let me know what you think. Should I turn that into a t-shirt? What do you think, guys? Would that make a good t-shirt? I'll maybe just have it all in black and white. No, in fact, I'll maybe just do it exactly like that. What do you think? Would that be a good t-shirt? Let me know. Yeah, Paul did have a good rant, and I was trying to keep him calm. I was trying to keep him calm. Oh, you took it. That's brilliant, Stevie. Listen, you promoted it away, mate, and it's on YouTube. The actual songs on YouTube, just on YouTube Music as well, so you can listen to it on YouTube Music. But what I want people to do, if possible, is to we could turn it into a flag as well, couldn't we? That's a good idea. I'm going to put that Stevie Leeds on there. Stevie, you're a legend, mate. Thanks so much for that. What do you think, guys? Good t-shirt? Because I'll talk to a guy that knows a lot about t-shirts, and what I need, I mean, this guy does big numbers, so I need to know that I'm going to be able to sell a lot of t-shirts to make it worth doing. But everyone seems to think that this is a good idea for the t-shirt. It needs the military hardcore units to enforce on migrants, whether it's in hotels or in barracks. I think what we need to do is set up a regiment that is. We need to set up a regiment that basically. Yeah, thanks for that, Stevie. Good man. Good man. I know you do. I know you do, because I know you were talking about that the other day, mate. So any help that I can get is massively appreciated. It looks like the t-shirt's a good idea. So yeah, I'm going to talk to my guy about that, and basically this guy used to run. Well, he still does. He runs a punk record label, and he used to do all the punk stuff back in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. And he does merchandise and t-shirts as well, so they'll be good quality. So I will have a chat with him later on in this week and see if we can get something. And I think I'll call I've got an idea what I'll call the t-shirt brand as well. You can probably guess what I'm going to call it. But okay, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to get off here. Everybody have a good day. I'm going to be back on at 7 o'clock. So what's that? 4 o'clock now. We've got a couple of hours to get ready for Pastor Chris Wickland. He's going to have a lot to say. So don't miss this tonight, 7 o'clock. It's going to be, I've been listening to a lot of what Chris has been saying in the past few weeks, and God is using him. God is using him. He's probably not as angry as I am, because Chris is a pretty measured fellow, I have a little bit of passion from time to time. Okay. Right, guys. Kendo, yes, I'll have to look into that. Do you know what? I've got so much to do. I want to get the UK freedom movement up and running again. Because the other thing is, there's two things happening here, right? Islamists are taking over our country because they're taking liberties with our freedoms. And at the same time, the scumbags in government are taking away our freedoms to protest, to speak, to make videos, they're pushing digital ID on us. They're trying to take over our, they're trying to make us, if we've got limited companies, sign up to this digital ID thing for limited companies. It's absolutely disgusting what's happening. So I want to set up the UK freedom movement again. We did a march with the UK freedom movement in let me get it right, June 2018. Tommy was in prison. We did a march. It was great. We had a few thousand people there. Obviously, compared to the marches now, it was minuscule. But if we can get that up, I'll not be doing marches, but what I will be doing, I'll be highlighting the liberties that have been taken with our freedom, because that's what we set it up for initially. And I know, we've got the free speech union doing that as well, but the more people we've got talking about freedom, the better. And I'll still be doing the advanced stuff. I'll still be doing the pledge and all that sort of stuff, but the site's there. So I am gonna breathe life into the UK freedom movement. And again, if you think that's a good idea, guys, if you think the UK freedom movement, we've got about 8,000 people following the different channels that we've got. So I'm going to do it. And we've got a YouTube channel for it already. So it's a question now of basically rolling our sleeves up and getting some work done, get some videos made, and really pushing that. Because if we can fight on these different fronts, so we're fighting for our freedom, and we're fighting to make it very, very difficult for Islamists and jihadists to stay in this country. We want to make it so they want to leave. Okay. because Islamists, that's Muslim Brotherhood types, you know, Hamas supporting scumbags, and jihadists who are even worse because they want to kill everybody, we want them out of the country, okay? And that's what we've got to do. That's what we've got to do. Once a warrior, always a warrior. You better believe it, brother. You better believe it. Tonight I'll definitely. Oh, Stevie, that's great, mate. What we can, if you want, we can do it through PayPal. You know, I'll put the PayPal link in the bottom of all the videos as well. So whatever way you want to do it, mate, that's absolutely perfect. I know that's the problem with YouTube. Don't get me wrong, YouTube's good. The super chats are good because it's really easy to do. So if you've got an account and you're enjoying what you're watching, bang, you can just hit it with a super chat. But if you don't want to pay a massive amount of fees, then PayPal is probably the best way. But anyway, guys, I mean, anything that people are doing is massively appreciated, and it's the difference it's made to me to give me the time to actually do this is phenomenal. But anyway, guys, Maxie, it's very scary living in London. Do you know what? I did a thing this morning, and I'm going to go through it. I don't know whether you're a Christian or whether you're a believer or not, but remember this, right? God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. If you know God, no, that's fair enough, Steve. I'll set it up on Counter Media so we can do super chats on Counter tonight, mate. So that's brilliant. Yeah. So basically, God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but power and love and of a sound mind, and He doesn't want us being afraid of these people. I'm not scared of them. I'm just really angry. I'm really angry. You know, I've got a punch bag out the back there, and believe you me, that punch bag gets some massive punishment. When I get angry about this sort of stuff, I just go and beat the life and kick and punch and headbutt and bite my punch bag. Yeah. Yeah, I've got buy me a coffee. You know, I've got buy me a coffee. Do you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'll put all in the description of the videos tonight. I'm going to put all the payment stuff. I'm going to put all the links to the whatchamacallit, to the song, and then I am gonna talk to my mate about the t-shirts, because I think that could be a good way of dipping the toe in the water and testing things with the t-shirts. Guys, I'm gonna go. 623 people watching. We've done an hour. I've calmed down now. But stay safe. As Mark Stein always used to say, stay safe and stay free. See you all soon. Yeah, we could do posts as well, 100%. Okay, guys, right. I'm going to go. See you soon.